Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I am in the Snapshot 18w10d. Now this is a very exciting snapshot because they added coral reefs. I am, however, not going to be going over any of that. So sorry. I want to talk about the building blocks that have been added and just go over a couple of things that I've done structure-wise with these new blocks just to show you guys, get some ideas out there. Maybe you guys have some ideas that you would like to share with me. I would love that. This is such an exciting update. I am honestly so pumped for this update. Let's get started. These are some of the blocks that have been added. These over here were already in the game. However, you can now just get them in the creative inventory. Like you could just have them. They're yours. You don't have to use world edit or any commands or anything to get them. You can just get them. It's fantastic. We've also have these awesome coral blocks. Now, I personally am a massive fan of the texture of these. I think they add so much to the game. The dead coral adds so much to our grayscale that was already there, but it adds so much texture. Now, if you'll notice with these dead corals here, if I actually put a line of cobble, my personal favorite here is the pink. It adds so much depth in this block just with that texture. But if you look at them all, they all have a much different color tone than what the cobble does. So obviously both are gray, however this has a much warmer tone, which I love. That's going to open up so many opportunities for texturing terrain and organics and structure, and oh, it's just awesome. I love that they did that. Next we have these alive corals down here. Now these have a very bright color and they go quite well with these plants down here, and I love the textures and the color. I'm actually a fan of the color. I think it goes very well with the concretes and stuff that they put out. Like obviously those two are gonna go very well together, so I'm very okay with that color. I know some people think it's a little bit too bright. I don't think so. I like the bright colors. I'm personally a massive fan of bright colors. I like using them in my buildings, so I like that a lot. Now we have the stripped logs, which I love. Just think about in survival mode, having access to these extra blocks. So now your houses, when you're starting off, have so much more potential because you have easy access to stripped logs. You don't have to go to a guardian farm to get them, for example. Now, the part that I am most excited for is definitely the prismarine stairs and slabs. Stairs and slabs for all the things. Oh my goodness. Prismarine, stairs, and slabs. Prismarine, if you don't know, is one of my all-time favorite blocks, so I'm very excited that they added that. So it's going to make detailing structures a lot easier, and it allows me to use prismarine as one of my main blocks in a structure, because now I have these other blocks that I can use for detailing. Let's move over to this little castle turret and wall that I've done. And this is just to show off the texturing of the coral and the ways that you can kind of blend it up. So I went with the pink dead coral on the bottom because it has those bigger holes in it, and I slowly kind of blended it upwards straight up into these dead yellow coral and the dead blue coral, and I quite like the look of that in this castle wall. I think it goes great with the stone brick, especially like that they are different tones. Like the stone brick is definitely a lot more of that sort of neutral gray, whereas this has a lot more warm tones, and I think that looks great in a castle wall like this one. It also goes nice with the anvils that I added here. I didn't try cobble. I bet cobble would also look very nice though. I think in this scenario, this is just a little bit too much texture. The reason I'm going with stone brick right here is because it provides a lot more of a smooth texture, so it allows some contrast in the wall. But yeah, that definitely looks very cool. Let's move over here, actually. So over here I have a structure that I'm not entirely happy with, but it's just a test world. So it's all about having some fun with the new blocks. Back here I tried some of this kelp block. Now the kelp block I think is absolutely fantastic. A lot of people don't like the way that it creates these lines. I don't personally mind that too much. Obviously I would have probably a couple more uses for it without it, but I think even with that line, it's going to be incredibly useful. I don't fully love the use of it here, but I do think it's going to be viable in structure, but even more so in terrain and in organics. That color, that deep green color that it has is just so fantastic. I'm definitely going to be using that a lot. Now up here, you'll notice my building is dripping. My building is dripping. So I didn't spend a lot of time working out all of the kinks with this idea. However, normally when you place this block above land, it dies. It becomes that gray dead coral that we were just talking about. However, if you fill your roof with water, then you can get away with having a gorgeous coral roof. And I like that. I think that would work very well. It obviously takes away from your interior a little bit. I don't personally mind taking away from interior as a creative builder. Perhaps for someone who builds in survival and actually wants to live in this structure, it might be a little bit more of an issue, but I don't mind it. Now, over here, I've used quite a lot of dark prismarine. One of my favorite blocks, of course. So in this sort of medieval house, I went with the coral foundation again. I think this is just going to be a block that I'm going to use a lot. I absolutely love the texturing. I've said that a million times now, but it's so fantastic. The detailing I did here with the prismarine stairs and slabs, I was able to do that on both layers to get some consistency. In the flower boxes here, you'll notice that I used the trapdoors. Spruce trapdoors. Oh, I absolutely love them. So good. So amazing. Love the look of those trapdoors. I also love the buttons down here. We now have button variations, pressure plate variations, etc, etc. So these birch buttons down here can kind of tie in with my logs up here. I use these stripped birch logs. Now I love the way that these look because they don't just look good in pillars like this, they also look good if you stack them up next to each other like so. And that's one of the main things that I appreciate here. So although they do have a little bit of darkening on the side, it's not too much. So in a wall like this, they'll still look absolutely fantastic. And you can see I've taken full advantage of that over here, where I've done the 2x2 pillars in this oriental build. So for this oriental build, I obviously have gone with the prismarine roof. Now this would not have been possible before with just the full blocks, but now that I'm able to do these slabs and sort of build these up, it gives so much shape and detail to these roofs, and I definitely want to continue with this oriental style once the update fully comes out. I also love that this stripped log looks so good with the other acacia planks and the acacia trapdoors. Just really all brings it together, and I really think that this birch trapdoor looks so fantastic in oriental style. It looks perfect on those windows. I personally think it fits there fantastically. I also love that I was able to just get the smooth sandstone, because normally if I was going to go for that color, I would have to go for the birch or maybe this sandstone and this sandstone, and if you just stack them up, you know, you get kind of lines or squares. It's not the same effect as having that plain background back there. I love that. Now let's dive underwater where things get just a little bit more exciting. Look at this. Can you imagine swimming up and finding a whole kingdom made of buildings with coral roofs? I would love that. That is so awesome. I love the texturing here. I love that I can decorate down here with these coral plants. I think they look great on roofs like that. They add so much. And more importantly, these stairs and slabs down here, they're working. I can place these in, nothing breaks, nothing glitches out. Now I will say it was a little bit of a challenge to build with this. You could see under here we have some dead coral. So when you're detailing, you're going to have to be a little bit careful that you're not killing your coral if you're in survival mode and you want to preserve it. But otherwise, I mean, this is definitely very cool. I love that I was able to hang a lantern in here with the fence. That looks fantastic. The only thing I will say is that these spots right here, they come back no matter what I do. And I'm not sure why that is, because they work every other way. I've broken my coral. That's fine. There we go. But yeah, so those spots are still a little bit glitchy, but we're in a snapshot, so obviously they've still got a lot of things to fix and add and all of that fun stuff. Now, if we come over here, we've got one of my last ideas. Oh, the fish! Oh, it's so exciting. I love it. I love it so much. Look at the fish swimming around my structure. Oh, they're so happy. I love them. Anyways, so this structure obviously has a lot less detail. I didn't really finish it, but I just wanted to work out something. So you see part of this structure is actually above the water. And I don't think that that looks that bad. Now, obviously this is not the deepest part of the ocean, but I mean, it's fairly deep compared to the rest of this area. I could build down in a ravine, but if I want to do big structures, I'm thinking that I'm going to have to do them partially above land. And I don't think that that's going to look that bad. Even though this is not very detailed, I don't hate the look of that roof that is above water right now. I don't think that takes away from it too much. So, hear me out, right? Okay, now imagine if we had a kingdom that had mermaids as well as humans all living in harmony. Now, what if this kingdom was partially below water and partially above water, like this structure that you see behind me? So we have staircases coming down into the water. Maybe there's like submarines exploring from the humans who want to go down there. I just think that that could be so fantastic, just spanning out along this whole area. Maybe you have structures like this one that are much larger, can go all the way above the water and come down, and spiral staircases. And oh, what a dream. What a dream. I'm so excited to get started with building more in these snapshots and for when this update fully comes out. Please let me know what you've thought of all of these builds and what you're thinking about the snapshot so far. If you're a builder, have you tried building anything in this snapshot yet? I would love to know what you have been up to. I am personally so excited. Anyways, that's all for me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!